And welcome everybody to Journey to Lonestar. It is our digital special previewing the NCAA tournament. Both men's and women's tourneys have their Final Four in Texas, hence the name. All right, let's get right to the men's bracket, and U of A earns a number 2 seed in the South region. Let's take a look at the bottom of the bracket. Go ahead and check out the Wildcats getting that 2 seed and taking on Princeton, the Ivy League champions, in the first round. That game is going to be on Thursday in Sacramento at 1:10. And if the Wildcats can get by the Tigers of Princeton, they will play the winner of Missouri and Utah State. Some other teams that are in the region, the South region, that Arizona could play in a potential Sweet 16 game. You see Creighton, NC State, Baylor, and UCSB. Keep in mind, Santa Barbara is coached by Joe Pasternak, who used to be a former Arizona assistant coach. I caught up with the Wildcats on Sunday at their selection show watch party. What are your thoughts on playing Princeton?
I mean, I'm just happy to be in the tournament, to be honest, and happy to go to Sacramento, and we just got to win, beat anybody we play, so.
We've played a lot slower teams, you know, that play a lot slower than these guys. So, yeah, so we'll figure it out.
Championship trophy.
As for Arizona women's basketball, the Wildcats earn a number 7 seed and will play West Virginia in Maryland. That means Esbree Martinez, Wildcat forward, is going to go up against her former team. She transferred from West Virginia to Arizona before the start of this past season. Now, this is all part of the Greenville bracket, and if the Wildcats are able to beat the Mountaineers, they would have a tough second-round game against host Maryland. Other teams in their region include Creighton, a play-in game. Notre Dame, remember, Arizona actually beat Notre Dame a few years back to win the WNIT championship, and Southern Utah in there as well. Dia Barnes saying that she is not concerned despite her team having lost its last 3 games.
You know, if you looked at us a couple of years ago when we made the Final Four run, we did not end the season well. We did not play well in the Pac-12 tournament. Then we went all the way to the championship game. So, you know, that's hard to do, but I think that we're confident. I think we're prepared. I think we got a lot better this week in practice. So we're definitely ready for the tournament, and we're in a good place right now as a team.
We kind of refocused, you know, that's in the past. We can really only look at the future now. So I think we're working hard. We're excited. I mean, it's going to be a long flight, but besides that, like, we're really looking forward to it. So we're excited to go out and play on Friday.
All right, so I'm about 6'5". I'm the tallest person at K-Gun, but I don't stand a chance against these two guys.
Umar Ballo and Azulis Tubelis, not only tall, but incredibly talented. Carrying the Wildcats into the top 10 for most of the year, they may be the best big man duo in the country.
What do you think when you hear young people saying that kind of thing?
I feel like people respect us now, but also it comes with us doing our job. Numbers speaks more than, person.
Their numbers speak loudly. Both average a near double-double every game. They are the 2 leading rebounders in the Pac-12. In fact, Tubelis, who also goes by Zoo, leads the conference in scoring and rebounds. The Pac-12 and National Player of the Year candidate can barely contain his excitement.
I just love Carson. Just my team won. Yes, I scored, but 20 or 40.
Zoo did score 40 against Oregon this year, the most by a Wildcat in 28 seasons. These two aren't flying under the radar anymore.
Every team we play from now on, they give their best to us, so we get their best punch, so we need to really throw some knockout punches.
These two have been a powerful 1-2 punch because they know how to finish at the rim, and they know in this offense someone is always open.
But we look for each other, I look for the Zoos, I look for the girls who are cutting. Just need to make the right read and the right pass.
Zoo and Ballo spend their free time watching film, just not always basketball film.
What's the show that you're on right now?
Jersey Shores.
Jersey Shore.
Is that a show?
Yeah, Jersey Shore.
My girlfriend showed me that. It was fun.
Go against each other in something. What would you pick that is like a guaranteed win for you? Like, what are you better at?
FIFA for sure.
Basketball, 1 against 1.
Oh, 1-on-1. Like, you guarantee to win 1-on-1.
Guarantee if I play hard.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know, but I thought you were gonna say golf.
Luckily, they'll be playing together during March Madness. And just in case they need help, I offered to suit up with them.
How good are you?
Shooting? Not great. Not good enough to crack the rotation.
Okay, I'll stick to watching the games and hopefully watching Arizona's big men lead the Wildcats to some big wins on college basketball's biggest stage. At the U of A, Ryan Fish, KGUN 9 on your side.
Usually in March, a head coach will shorten his bench, but for Arizona's Tommy Lloyd, he's only been using 7 Wildcat players in his rotation, at least for the second half of the regular season.
In a perfect world, I'd love everybody to play, and I'd love everybody to happy, and I'd love everybody to score double figures. But we don't, obviously we know we don't live in a perfect world. So for me, it's just about making decisions that I think are going to help us win the next ball game. And then, I can't ignore the fact that, having players 8, 9, and 10, good enough and ready to contribute helps your team. And so, I got to help kind of nurture that and develop that a little bit. And they got to hold up their end of the bargain and make sure that when they get those opportunities, they come in and they really help us and the level doesn't drop off.
Place your bets, place your bets. Basketball, place your bets. Baseball, place your bets. Whatever your game, place your bets at Arizona's best bet, Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar. Place your bets in our kiosks 24 hours a day. You can even place your bets from wherever you are using the Desert Diamond Sports app. Fun to watch, easy to bet, fun to play. The new Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar is Arizona's best bet.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Maddie's our spark off the bench.
Bounces it to Connor, wants to answer with a three-pointer that's up and good.
She comes in and does what we need her to do.
Averaging 6 points per game, that spark off the bench, who also goes by Madison Connor, is Wildcats' 5th leading scorer, behind 4 out of Arizona's 5 starters, Shayna Pallington, Kate Reese, Esmeri Martinez, and Jade LaVille. The only difference is Connor only needed half the time to make it in the top 5.
To Connor for 3.
But some would say she had a head start.
I mean, she was a high school kid.
The Phoenix native was one of the state's top prospects, ranked number 56 recruit overall and number 13 point guard in her class. Connor had just 1 semester left at AZ Compass Prep when deciding to hang up her high school jersey for an immediate spot on the Wildcat roster.
I feel like it was the right decision from the moment I got here.
But joining a 10th ranked team midway through the season wouldn't come without learning curves.
There was even some games really early that we probably lost some games because she was new, not knowing our system, and I put her in.
It was moments like those when Coach Adia Barnes took a chance on the young athlete, giving her the opportunity to prove herself.
I knew long-term it'd pay off.
And Connor was going to be sure that it would pay off.
Constantly working on the things that I'm not very good at.
Using both time and resources to her advantage.
It was very cool to go there early and just kind of getting in the system and learning from vets.
One of those vets was none other than WNBA forward Sam Thomas.
Sam was probably one of the most influential people. She kind of took me under her wing.
The two were teammates during Thomas's final season in an Arizona jersey.
Being able to watch a pro work and for her to experience that and be hungry and see what leadership's like, all those things, it's extremely valuable. It was the best thing that she ever did.
I think she's been doing a great job.
With the NCAA granting an extra year of eligibility to those who played during the pandemic. Connor is now a sophomore in her 3rd season with the Wildcats, shooting 94%, becoming one of the best free throw shooters in the country.
Big spark off the bench, not just offensively, but from an energy standpoint.
Making strides on her control and confidence on the court, Connor has proven to be a key player on the Arizona roster.
I know what I'm going to get every game from Maddie. I'm going to get someone that's not afraid. She's ready to come in and play, and she just wants to win.
A player that isn't afraid to be that spark off the bench.
I could put her in the 4th quarter. I can put her in the 2nd. She doesn't care.
I just want to go out there and play the best that I can and help the team win.
If you've heard it once, you have heard it 100 times this season. Arizona's Kylan Boswell is, yes, just 17 years old, and recently I caught up with a Wildcat freshman.
He should be playing in high school.
Kylan Boswell may not look like it, play like it, or act like it, but he is only 17 years old.
What type of comments do you usually get?
A lot of the time people don't even believe me that I'm 17.
After moving from Illinois out west for better high school competition, Boswell decided to graduate early and reclassify to play as a freshman in college this season.
What's the biggest challenge of reclassifying?
I definitely say the schoolwork was the hardest thing. Trying to get all of my senior year done in a few months time frame to be eligible to come here was probably the hardest thing.
Boswell also had to recover from a broken foot. Head coach Tommy Lloyd knew it would also take time to adjust on the court.
You know, I told him all along, I'm not evaluating you as a player till January 1st. You have till January 1st to be ready.
Tommy Lloyd said that he wasn't going to evaluate you until January 1st. What did that do for you?
It definitely eased things for me. There wasn't a lot of pressure taken off me now because Tommy was letting me know that there wasn't really much he's expecting out of me. Made me feel more comfortable and get more confidence within myself over time, which helped me a lot.
I wanted to give him a long porch, so to speak, so he could kind of, see where he was at and deal with some success, deal with some struggles, but he's a really good ball player and he's a great shooter.
Boswell met the moment. In a tough rotation to crack, his minutes and statistics have steadily risen throughout the season.
The dude's special.
And he's shown a little flair.
He's got swag.
With some no-look passes.
How do you decide when to do a no-look pass?
When Zoo's running and I can tell that he's going to get past his defender, I always try to get a little fancy with my passes.
Boswell has given us a taste of his potential, all while contributing this season, doing so at an age when most are seniors in high school.
I'm looking forward to him being a solid contributor down the stretch.
At this point in my career, Division I basketball playing March Madness is kind of crazy.
It's a sometimes forgotten part of Arizona basketball history, but in some ways it's more important than any conference title or even the 1997 national championship. We're talking about the basketball history of Fred Snowden.
Often his name, his story, his place historically gets lost. And that's why I'm trying to make sure that it's not lost, that everyone does know the Fred Snowden story.
Stacy Snowden knows the Fred Snowden story very well. She recently came back to Tucson to take part in a chat about her late father.
You are only the first ones. And there was only one who was the first black head coach at a major university. Right. And that's Fred Snowden, and I'm proud of that. Yeah. And I want to make sure that everyone knows about his legacy. Yeah.
That legacy really began in 1972. A 36-year-old who grew up in inner-city Detroit and weathered the riots of 1967 was hired by the University of Arizona. He became the first black head coach at a major NCAA Division I university.
He knew he had to start right away, do two things: win and sell the place out.
Bob Elliott was Fred Snowden's first star player at Arizona, helping the young coach win and sell out the brand new 14,000-seat McHale Center.
It unlocked the door for a lot of other coaches. All of a sudden now Washington State hires George Raveling, away from Maryland, who was an assistant coach. Georgetown hires John Thompson, who was a high school coach in D.C. It opened the door for a lot of people because there's only one first, and Coach Snowden was the first. And it happened here. Tucson, Arizona.
While Snowden was blazing a trail for future African-American coaches, he was having to deal with overt racism. Stacy Snowden was a young girl when her father took over the Arizona program in 1972. She says the first 5 years in Tucson were the toughest.
There were bomb threats, there were fire threats, there were kidnap threats. It was just constant. My father's, I think that he felt his role in all this was to protect us all. And that was a lot of pressure.
He kept much of that from his players, only sharing once with Elliott in his McHale Center office.
He said, go ahead, open up that bottom right drawer. You know, you're the academic All-American, you can read. What's it say? Death threats. N-word, I will shoot you with your white shoes on. And he said, now, here's the deal, Bobby. You and I have to keep this to ourselves. When the time is right, I decide when I tell the team. And he never did tell the team.
Snowden persevered, and so did his teams in the mid-'70s. The Wildcats winning a Western Athletic Conference title in 1976, reaching the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament that same season.
Coach Snowden, besides being the first black head coach, was the first black head coach to win an NCAA tournament game. But a lot of this gets lost because time, it was 50 years ago, and the fact that he didn't stay in the ranks. Coach moved on after 10 years, went into corporate America.
Snowden was also a success in the corporate world before his untimely death in 1994 of a heart attack. He was just 57. Now, 50 years after taking over as Arizona head coach, he's being remembered. You'll find a display at the new African American Museum of Southern Arizona inside the U of A Student Union.
It was so much fun working with Bev Elliott, putting that together. I was like, what do you need? I'm sending it to you.
While Bob and Beverly Elliott have done a remarkable job remembering Snowden in their museum, Bob believes there's more that can be done inside McHale to honor Snowden.
Never forget the past, because that's where we came from, as a program.
A championship program that began with the absolutely Arizona story of Fred the Fox Snowden.
Place your bets, place your bets. Basketball, place your bets. Baseball, place your bets. Whatever your game, place your bets at Arizona's best bet, Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar. Place your bets in our kiosks 24 hours a day. You can even place your bets from wherever you are using the Desert Diamond Sports app. Fun to watch, easy to bet, fun to play. The new Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar is Arizona's best bet.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
I'm Brianna Isbell. When you're sitting in the stands as a fan, it can be easy to forget that those on the court are human just like the rest of us. And for fifth-year shooting guard Shayna Pellington, her love for the game runs deeper than the surface.
She's a daddy's girl.
Know your strengths, play to your abilities,
Pellington, nobody stopped ball, so she takes it all the way.
and do what you do.
About their defense.
That's the same message Dennis Pellington tells his daughter each time she calls him before a game.
He was her coach her whole life.
The man who taught Pellington how to play the game is the same man who instilled the love for the game. With her family still living in her hometown of Pickering, Ontario, Canada, Pellington has gone over 3 years without seeing her parents. With Canada's tight COVID restrictions, traveling to games at McHale Center became even more difficult.
He hadn't been out here because of COVID, and it was really hard to get from Canada, and the borders were closed.
And that was just one challenge. Shayna's father has been battling kidney failure for most of her life. And when Canada's travel restrictions were finally lifted, Dennis then received a kidney transplant that would limit his travel once again. It wasn't until Pellington's final home game when that changed.
It really meant a lot for her, for him to be here. I think she played with a different sense of urgency.
A sense of urgency that only her parents could bring out of her. In that final home game, with the support from her mom Arlene and father Dennis on senior day, Pellington scored a team-high 19 points.
Ahead to Pellington.
Dished out 5 assists, finishing the regular season with a career-high 51 steals and 91 assists.
Eddie always, preaches, leaving a legacy here, and I feel like us seniors, we really tried to do that, and I feel like we did leave a legacy here.
Capping off her 4-year collegiate career at Arizona, Pellington has finally been receiving the recognition she deserves. From ESPNW naming her the National Player of the Week to the Pac-12 awarding her the co-most improved Player of the Year, Shayna Pellington will leave her mark on Arizona women's basketball.
From this point on, we have a lot more left to prove.
But before the graduating Wildcats can go,
it's my last one.
It's March Madness.
McHale Center, it's home to gymnastics, volleyball, and of course men's and women's basketball. You can almost hear the echoes of the unforgettable past. This year, we're celebrating 50 years of McHale Center. It's kind of a little awe-inspiring, isn't it, every
Sure
time?
it is. Sure is.
Tom Duddleston still gets the same feeling walking into McHale Center as he did when he worked inside the building for more than 30 years.
It's nice to come in here sometime on a summer day where there's no one here. And there's a little bit, the lighting's obviously different because there's no team practicing on the floor. Spooky cool.
Before Duddleston worked in sports information at the U of A, he was a student here. His introduction to Arizona basketball came at Bear Down Gym, the predecessor to McHale Center. Opened in 1926, it held just 3,600 fans. Students painted Bear Down on the roof in memory of John Button Salmon, a quarterback on the U of A football team. Salmon was critically hurt in a car crash. On his deathbed, he said to his coach, Pop McHale, to tell them to bear down. For nearly 50 years, Arizona played in Bear Down Gym. By the early 1970s, construction began on a new $4.5 million arena. It would be named after legendary coach Pop McHale. In February of 1973, McHale Memorial Center hosted its first game.
They went from there to here and filled it up overnight. I mean, they had a game over there, and then they had a game here in February, and it was full, 13,000 people. So that's a dramatic change.
That began a run of basketball success at Arizona that few schools could match. In the 70s, the U of A made Fred Snowden the first black head coach at a major university.
Fred Snowden, the coach, had some up and down players and some good ones, and the WAC conference was special competitive league, and it was just good.
Snowden led the Wildcats to an Elite Eight appearance in 1976 and led the move to the Pac-10 Conference in 1978. But the national success came with the surprise hiring of Lute Olson in 1983.
They could tell right away that Lute was going to win, and he said, "Better buy tickets now because we're going to bring it back for you." And it came back right away.
Lute Olson elevated the Arizona program to national championship status and elevated McHale Center into one of the toughest places in the country to play. Duddleston says the reason it has that reputation is because it's full. Arizona men's basketball has led the Pac-12 in attendance for 38 straight seasons.
It's a big, loud crowd. And that makes it, everybody goes, wow.
In recent years, the Arizona women have also set attendance records, adding to the legacy of McHale. Also adding to the legacy, the floor at McHale Center being named the Lute and Bobby Olson Court. For much of the 50 years, McHale housed all of Arizona Athletics offices, including the coaches of every sport.
Mike Candrea, the softball coach, he had a locker next to Lute, Dick Tomey. I mean, they just shared a lot of common coaching knowledge.
That also meant cramped quarters and needing to find office space anywhere they could inside McHale. They even created these slanted suites in the 80s under the slope of the arena stairs, still in use today. Amid all of the winning and the championship banners being hung, McHale Center has been remodeled and reconfigured several times, including in 2014. Duddleston thinks the old building is a lot like its namesake, Pop McHale.
If he was a tough guy, which I believe he was, this is kind of like that. You know, you get by with what you have here.
And like McHale Center, that toughness is matched by the loyal Wildcat fans and by Tom Duddleston.
I mean, to see the people's names hung up here, you know, I got to see them all play, which is special for me and a whole lot of people. There are a lot of people in McHale Center's crowd that have been there the whole time. Right. You know, I certainly don't have a corner on that one.
But he's had a front row seat for the absolutely Arizona history inside McHale Center the past 50 years.
All right, we hope you enjoyed this Arizona basketball digital special, Journey to Lonestar, as both Final Fours are in Texas this season, men's and women's basketball. For all of us here at KGUN 9, I'm Jason Barr, and we'll see you next time.